Hello everyone. Thanks for coming to my channel or coming back if you're a subscriber. I really appreciate it. Today's topic I hope is going to be both interesting and enlightening to you. And I'm going to try to find a jumping off point that makes sense. So grief. We've all seen a lot of death the past 2 years with the COVID pandemic and the stress from the COVID pandemic and the psychological effects from isolation from the pandemic. And we're going to see a lot more soon, it looks like, with this war. So I believe this topic of grief and death is more important than ever. I would say the second most natural thing, second to life, is death. Yet we live in a modern society that has commoditized, made death a commodity, and thus removing us from this very natural and normal experience. Historically, when our loved ones died, we had to be there, feel that, see every moment of their suffering, and then we had to prepare their body, go through whatever ritual it was that you go through, depending on your faith, in your home, and then bury them. Now, by today's standards, that would horrify most people to have to deal with a corpse. But, you know, the whole idea of flowers in a death setting wasn't out of just aesthetics. It was to help to counteract the decomposition of the corpse. And people don't think of these things. Now it's become, again, just kind of this kind of money-making ritual, creating another industry or feeding another industry, you know, around the world, the florists. So that being said, when people were able to go through this process, often it would help to give them that ultimate closure, because they were so active in the preparation and finalization of the process of death. But today, that's all so remote. You're lucky if you even see your loved one before they take them off and cremate them or bury them. Because we live on all different sides of the world now, we're so separated from our family and friends. And again, there's all these weird laws around it also that keep us from having that more intimate experience and very natural experience with death. Going to my next point is that, for decades, I have this strange gift, and it's strange to me because I'm a very scientific person, but dead people talk to me, not to sound cliche, and it's really interesting. And so I want to say that if you grieve for too long, if you do not move on with your emotions, the spirit of your loved one whom you are grieving will also suffer with you. This is one of the major reasons, not only for your own life and well-being, but one of the major reasons it's important to grieve properly, grieve thoroughly, and to take the gifts that that person gave you in life with you in your heart as you move forward and heal. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is, so I had a dear friend who was also a lover, and this person brought me more support, more unconditional love, more understanding than anyone else had ever in my life. This person basically transformed my understanding of friendship and love and support and power, more than my parents, more than my siblings. When this person died at a very young age, they had numerous health issues. I couldn't believe how devastated I was. I never knew I could mourn like that. I never knew I could cry so much. I never knew that I could feel such deep emotions. It was amazing and so painful. I'm just happy I didn't want to feel it though, like most people. I didn't want to feel those emotions because we're taught that we're not supposed to suffer in that way. We're not supposed to feel, which is really kind of horrifying. And I'm not going to lie to you. I went to professionals. I wanted to get something to take the pain away, but luckily it was in a time post Oxycontin, and the doctors were very resistant and just said, you know, if you're really having that hard of a time, you should see someone to help you work those emotions out and not chemically numb it. And I'm very fortunate that they denied me access to the numbing of my emotions now. But so as I moved in past, you know, the first 6 months, the next year of my friend's death, I thought to myself, you know, how do I process this? How do I move on with life when this incredible person that there's no way they can be replaced in my life, and the things they brought to me and the support they gave me is gone? And, you know, often most people feel this with a parent or perhaps a spouse. And then suddenly it became incredibly apparent to me. And this is the most important part of this video that you need to understand and take into your heart. Yes, it's really important to go through the grieving process. In the Native American tribes, there was actually a special person whose job it was to come to a family's home who had lost a loved one and just get everyone to break down in utter and complete hysteria in order to fully grieve and fully move that energy out of their body. Because we know now that negative emotional energy has a tremendous ill effects on the body chemically. You know, it can literally make you sick if you hold on to negative emotions and that form of stress and grieving for too long. But more importantly, like I said earlier, we don't want to hold the spirit of our loved ones hostage. You know, they are with us. They're surrounding us, and they're suffering with us. And you do not want them to suffer for too long. So what do you do? What do you do when you're feeling this enormous grief that you can't let go of because of the loss that you feel you cannot fill? Well, this is what you do. In my case, my friend was so supportive, and he gave me these, you know, these really powerful tools that seem basic to most people, but they weren't basic to me because my parents were alcoholics. They had a massive, endless mental health issues. And so I was lacking that foundation of both unconditional love and self-support. So my friend, often without even asking, would feel what I needed, and without me asking would move in, and he would push me to get things done, things that I was, you know, really procrastinating on in my life or overwhelmed by, easily overwhelmed by things. And he would come in like a knight, and he would just, and I would be so resistant, and I would be so whiny. I would practically be like not even honor the time and energy that he was giving to me, having no idea that in that process, I was actually learning to be a stronger person with self-supportive tools and unconditional love for myself. So the day came, you know, that I was having one of those days that I was feeling very weak. I was feeling very shut down. I was feeling very distraught. And I was really feeling the loss of my friend. And the voice came into my heart and said, you need to honor that person that you're missing so greatly by embodying those qualities that they gave to you when they were alive. And that's how you honor them, and that's how you keep their spirit alive. You become those very things, those very gifts that person gave to you when they were alive so generously and so lovingly when you were too immature or too weak to embody those qualities. So now I have become such a tremendously stronger, more independent person. And it doesn't happen overnight. You have to come into awareness, which is painful. Awareness is painful because if you're truly aware, you have to follow through with action. That's why many people are depressed, because there's elements of their life that completely suck. And yet they lack the awareness and the follow through to make the changes, to listen to their heart and their bodies, to make their lives more, not even happy. I think happy is going too extreme to the other side, but even neutral, just to make their lives fair for them, to remove the people or circumstances, to change the circumstances of life, just to make your life palatable. I think happy is the extreme, but even if you can just make your life so you don't have to think about how sucky your job is or how sucky your relationships are, then you've actually achieved a lot. So today, I want you to think about not yourself, but the spirit of the person that you are grieving. And I want you to write down what did that person give to you? What did that person bring into life, into your life, that made you feel safer, feel loved, feel secure? And then I want you to thank that spirit, and I want you to start becoming that. Keep their spirit alive, release them from your pain, and truly honor them by becoming what they gave to you. And not only will you become a stronger, self-aware, incredible being in your own life and be able to give that to others. So you're grieved when you pass, but the spirit of the person who gave this incredible gift to you, that gift of life, that gift of love, will be able to go on with the other, for lack of better words, karmic and soul lessons that they need to on the other side in their spiritual journey. All right. Thank you for listening. I'm glad I didn't make this video too long. And I answer all comments. And if you like my message, my channel is all over the map, and I'm not going to apologize for that because that's real life. A lot of it's going to be out gardening. As you see, my giant orchard is a full-time job and a full-time discipline. And sometimes we're going to be talking about spiritual stuff. And sometimes I'm going to be raging about politics and things that are happening to the planet. So I want you to take care of yourselves and take care of each other, because I believe how we treat each other on the streets is our ultimate reality. Be well.